Has hip hop lost its essence at all?
Nah, I don't think,
So it's not, I'm not trying to necessarily get a certain message.
so every move for me is new, which is kind of...
Most definitely, we feel like every album
It's ranging from Coltrane to Philip Glass.
Like it's like the biggest laugh, biggest joke, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's almost like something saying, oh, well, oh, you got to deal with this.
He was always prepared. Dre, let's go. I'm ready, Ma.
They had settled down in an apartment complex across from Bourne Home, which is like the epitome of projects here in Atlanta, Georgia.
The kids in the neighborhood, 9 times out of 10, they were on their way to being drug dealers or pimps or gangbangers.
You're looking out a window and people fighting and the fire engines, and you knew that there was something better for your child.
So it only made sense to bus Andre to the part of town where he could be exposed to something finer.
Andre 3000 was born in Atlanta, Georgia, May 27, 1975. Only child of real estate agent Sharon Benjamin and collections agent Lawrence Harvey Walker. His single mother raised him in Atlanta, East Point, and Buckhead, where he attended Sarah Smith Elementary School, Southern Middle School, Northside High School, Clarence Success Academy, and Tri-Cities High School. 1992. In high school, Andre 3000 met Big Boy at Leonard Square Shopping Mall. They were both 16 years old. Andre 3000 and Patton, also attending the same high school, teamed up to form OUTKAST, originally known as 2 Shades Deep. Shortly after graduating, OUTKAST was signed to Atlanta-based record label LaFace, an imprint of Arista Records, and released their debut album, Southern Playlist Cadillac Music, in 1994. Buoyed by success of their single Players Ball, the album was certified platinum by the RIAA. The same year, OUTKAST was named Best New Rap Group of the Year at 1995 Social Awards. Their next 2 albums, Atlians in 1996 and Aquemini in 1998, OUTKAST experimented with their sound by adding elements of trip-hop, soul, jungle. The albums were also influenced by a return to traditional black music genres, with funk being the most prominent example. OUTKAST style and lyricism again received commercial and critical acclaim, with the duo's portrayal of themselves as out of place in Atlians. Benjamin lyrics in particular were noted for their surreal space-age thing. The funkadelic, futuristic, and seemingly unfamiliarly weird or eccentric persona projected by Andre 3000 creates the chance to transcend the more pronounced characterizations of gangsters. 2000 introduced Benjamin's new alias Andre 3000 and increased the group's crossover appeal with the single Miss Jackson, which hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. The song was written in the aftermath of Andre 3000's breakup with Erykah Badu and was a fictionalized account of this disintegration of their relationship. In 2002, OUTKAST released a greatest hits album, Big Boy and Dre's present OUTKAST, which contained 3 new tracks, one of which The Whole World won a Grammy for Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group. Later that year, 3000 participated in the Dungeon Family group album, which saw some prominent Atlanta-based hip-hop group combined to a supergroup. In 2002, 3000 was referenced on the song Till I Collapse by Eminem, considered him one of the best rappers ever.
Especially if it's wood, and most of them are wood.
Yeah.
They have this on life, like before I even grabbed it, but...
Yeah. What attracted you to the instrument?
The sound.
Yeah.
The sound, as soon as I heard it, I was not paying attention, and as soon as I heard the sound, my ears just kind of popped up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, what is this? And I just had to know.
What did you like in the sound?
It was a humanness. There was an immediacy of getting sound. It was portable.
Yeah. You've talked a lot over the years about the importance of community in being creative. I get the sense that you've in effect found a new community.
Yes, for sure. Like when I moved to Venice, I ended up meeting Carlos Nino at an Air One, which is so funny to me.
Which is like basically what, like a supermarket?
Yeah, it's a really cool supermarket, but it's such a Venice kind of thing and a California kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there, and it was actually me, Mike D from Beastie Boys, because he was in the checkout. I saw him, said hey to Mike D. Carlos comes up, so it's 3 of us, you know, standing there, and Carlos was like, hey man, I've heard you've been in town, like, and people were telling me like you around playing flute. I knew we would meet, you know, at some point. And we met that day and he invited me to an event he was throwing that night. And it was like a Alice Coltrane tribute event. And I just came with my flute. I always carry my flute anyway. And yeah, he invited me to play. I was so like nervous and scared. I didn't get on stage because I don't be wanting to mess people up. And I know my flutes are not tuned to like 440, so I was like, I don't want to like get in there. It's like, what this dude doing?
So you didn't play?
I did not play. I brought my flute, but I met a lot of the people that ended up playing.
Yeah.
And then me and Carlos started hanging out. Carlos invited me into a world that they already built, that's been here for a long time.
Yeah.
I was just happy that they let me, invited me in, because it was kind of like, to me, the perfect family to be able to stretch out and just get to know your instrument. Like, I don't even know what notes I'm playing, so every move for me is new, which is kind of crazy, but it feels great to do it, because when you find things, you're like, oh, it's like a reward for searching.
But you have a history of kind of finding your own way with instruments.
Yeah, I think that's a hip hop thing, to be honest, because hip hop, you immediately, you know, take something in and put it back out.
Yeah.
Even in our rehearsals now for New Blue Sun, I have to sit back and listen to what I did and try to interpret what I did.
What's that like?
It's kind of weird, because you're like, what did I do that? Like, because for me, it's really physical. So I'm actually trying to will things out. So for me
You're willing something out?
Yeah.
What are you willing out?
I don't know. I have no idea, but I'm just trying to find something that supports what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know. So
is it a feeling? Is it a thought? Or is it just
totally a feeling? It's totally a feeling. So when I'm playing and I play one note, I get a feeling off of that note, and I'm responding to the next note.
Yeah.
We just all stuck together. Everybody fed off each other. This was where the people who love to do what you do were.
It was a working environment. All we did was do music. We just go down there and sleep in sleeping bags on the floor and wake up to the music, get right back to the vibe.
We knew that eventually one of us was going to be big musically.
Antoine and Andre, they were spending like all their time at the dungeon. They were spending every moment of every day.
They just latched onto it and they didn't want to leave, like, you know what I mean?
Antoine and Andre, they would skip school to come over to the dungeon and work on songs.
These were kids who just said, I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to school tomorrow. I'm not going to do what my mother and my father say or my auntie say. You know what I mean? I want to do this.
Renee was furious. Antoine wasn't calling. He wasn't checking in like he was supposed to, and the grades were slipping. He wasn't keeping his part of the deal up.
She threatened to send him back to Savannah, and he was terrified because he didn't want to come home because he know he had worked so hard for what he was trying to do.
Antoine is a mastermind, you know. He figured out how to get grades, do the work, go to school, and then go to the dungeon with Dre.
I found out Andre wasn't attending school.
Dre dropped out of school.
Antoine and Andre was so serious about rapping, they was not gonna let anything or anybody stand in their way.
Two Shades D wasn't fitting them anymore.
They just went through the dictionary, trying to just find a word that best described them, and they came up with OUTKAST.
Outcast, pronounced outcast, an adjective meaning homeless or unaccepted in society.
Well, we was trying to think of a word, you know what I'm saying, to describe us as the people, you know what I'm saying, and that's daily, every day, outcast. Since you born, you outcast.
We all outcasts in the sense of we left everything that we had to pursue our dreams.
We different. We're not gonna be the regular or the normal.
The word outcast personified the vibe.
OUTKAST history. You created these jumpsuits. How did you come up with that idea?
I knew these were old songs. I can't say anything new on an old song. And it was sometimes just thoughts on top of my head, sometimes funny thoughts, things to make the audience think, you know, so it was just fun to me, and started with 1 or 2 suits. I'm gonna keep it going, just changing them up.
What response did you get from your audience about your messages?
The response was great. It was to start a conversation, and that's what it's done. And people started to even make up their own messages. I saw so many people with black suits on. And I was like, oh, this is cool, you know?
So your jumpsuits will be part of an art exhibit, a collaboration with SCAD at Art Basel, Miami. Why is the exhibit called I Feel Ya?
That came about because some other music artists performed live on television and they made their own suit and said, I feel you, Andre. I guess she'd probably seen in a suit that I wore and she was like, I feel that. So that's kind of how the title came about.
I love it.
Thank you.
When you created those jumpsuits, did you ever think that they would inspire a film and an entire art exhibition?
No, that's the cool thing about it. You just never know. One little thing leads to another. I never knew that the suits could turn into a film or any installation in that way, but just talking to other people, seeing what other people are doing, seeing how people react to the suits, and it becomes something greater than what it started with. So I think collaboration makes things greater than what they are.
What insight do you hope people will gain about you as an artist after seeing the exhibit?
Honestly, just to know that we all have thoughts that just come. Sometimes we think of these crazy things, just don't say them. So it's not, I'm not trying to necessarily get a certain message across anything, just trying to say that I think, you know, just like we all do.
OUTKAST split up after that period. In January of 2014, it was announced that OUTKAST reuniting to celebrate their 20th anniversary by performing at more than 40 festivals worldwide during spring-summer of 2014. Beginning with the headline spot at the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival in Indio, California in April. 3000 went on solo afterward after 2007. 3000 had said that he was recording a solo rap album, and that response to his remixes as a part of his motivation for it. In 2010, he was featured on Ciara's remix for a single Ride from the album Basic Instinct on the remix to Chris Brown's Deuces. On January 18, 2011, Kesha released the Sleazy remix, which featured 3000. The remix was later released December 13, 2011, also featuring verses by rappers Lil Wayne, Wiz Khalifa, and T.I. On June 7th, Big Boy leaked a collaboration with 3000 and Sleepy Brown entitled Looking For Ya, which had originally been intended for Big Boy's debut solo album, Sir Lucius Left Foot, the son of the Chico Dust, before it was blocked by Jive Records from appearing on the album. On June 24, 2011, Beyonce's fourth studio album entitled 4 was released. 3000 featured on the track Party, his first collaboration with the singer. The song was later nominated for the award for Best Rap Song Collaboration at the 2012 Grammy Awards. 3000 continued his string of guest appearances throughout the year, featuring on Lloyd's song Dedication to My Ex, Miss That, Lil Wayne's Interlude, and Drake's The Real Her. He also featured on the track Play the Guitar by B.O.B. 3000 was featured alongside Jay-Z on Young Jeezy's track I Do, released on January 10th, 2012. He later appeared on Young Jeezy's fourth studio album, Thug Motivation 103 Hustler's Ambition. 3000 verse, which was initially recorded as a song for his debut solo album, was leaked on the internet in 2010. That was a very tricky move. The following month, it was announced that Benjamin, which 3000 would be featured on a song with LCD Sound System frontman James Murphy, and the alternative rock virtual band Gorillaz titled Do Your Thing. In order to promote the Gorillaz Converse collection, it was released on February 23rd, 2012, two different versions. An approximately 4.5 minute radio edit and explicit 30-minute version, the song was written and recorded over 3 days, with the 30-minute version being recorded on the last one. And deep influences of Andre 3000. Let's get into it. Andre 3000's early hip-hop influence was, well, you guessed it, we all know it, Rakim, who inspired him to rap at a school talent show. He was heavily influenced by a tribe called Quest, stating that a group member Q-Tip is kind of like a father of all of us, like me, Kanye, Pharrell, the rest of the greats. In the book How to Rap, several MCs praised his rapping technique. Chaos noted on 3000's intricate songwriting process and wicked flow. Fredo, star of Onyx, commended on 3000's ability to unpredictably change up his flow on every record. And David Banner said that 3000 is one of the best lyricists ever. Despite his southern drawl delivery, with the release of OUTKAST's Speakerboxxx The Love Below album, Billboard stated that 3000 had proved himself to be an eccentric emo crooner and one of hip-hop's elite at the same time.
had improved the music, we improved the demo, but we also improved the staging.
The second audition was more full-blown. People there, everybody was loving them.
They were really being themselves. It blew LA away, because he was like, okay, now that's something. Okay, now I get it.
It was unique. There was nothing else like it. Didn't sound like New York, didn't sound like LA, it didn't sound like anything that I'd heard before.
He was like, I need to sign this group.
That was the night I decided, okay, gotta do this.
OUTKAST had done several showcases for L.A. Reid, and the last one finally won him over.
I thought they were amazing, and so we went on and made an arrangement to sign them.
Oh, they was ecstatic.
Yeah, we gonna keep doing this.
After OUTKAST was signed, L.A. Reid calls us. He's like, we got a Christmas album, and then we think this is an opportunity to introduce OUTKAST.
They was like, man, we don't want to do no Christmas song. A Christmas song.
Dre's reaction was, man, what the hell we gonna talk about? We some rappers, man. Like, rappers don't be talking about Christmas.
It's beginning to look a lot like wood. Follow my every step.
Growing up in the hood, we couldn't talk about Christmas in the American sense.
Cause I'm a player, doing what the players do.
We had to make a song that was equivalent to us.
It was called Players Ball. And it was basically talking about, you know, how there barely is a Christmas in the ghetto.
We basically saying that this is what we do every day. We never change because of a holiday.
I heard the song and I said, oh my God, this is amazing. We need an album.
Towards the end of 1993, they went in the studio and started to record.
We stayed in that studio at least 2 months, every day.
OUTKAST wouldn't even leave the studio some nights. They would sleep on the floors. That's how hard they worked to make this record a success.
Our main purpose and goal was to show the world that the South had something to say.
Southern Playalistic Cadillac music.
Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music was released April 26, 1994. At the time, rap was all East Coast and West Coast. It was really no in-between.
This was the birth of Southern hip-hop.
It was critically acclaimed. We got a lot of respect. 700,000 to 800,000 records sold.
They took over Atlanta almost immediately. There was no way you couldn't hear about OUTKAST.
Big and Dre were on Cloud 9 at that time.
They were teenagers. They were young and they were rowdy.
Drinking, smoking, partying, the girls.
Big and Dre were really living large.
Around this time, Big Boy met Shalita. It was love at first sight.
They were together quite a bit, but I really didn't know the depths of the relationship until I found out he had a kid that was on the way.
Twan had his first child, Jordan Patton, March 31st, 1995.
Big Boy was so excited about becoming a father.
Fatherhood for Antoine was a really big deal since, you know, his dad wasn't there most of the time for him. He was going to make sure that he's going to be there for his child.
After Jordan was born, he didn't stop partying, but he was always there for the responsibilities of being a father. He took those very seriously.
No matter what he did the night before, he was trying to get home to cook breakfast for Jordan.
Twan was looking further into the future. I have to get back in the studio.
OUTKAST began recording their second album, ATLiens, around 1995. They really started to come into their own as artists and producers on ATLiens.
And they really became men who understood their craft and mastered their craft.
Everybody let me hear you say, oh yeah, yeah.
They stepped up, and their confidence was starting to grow.
Things were really looking up. And then the news about Renee.
Big Boy's son, Renee, became ill.
I was thinking it was one of those things where she'd be all right in the next couple of days.
His aunt was almost like his mom in a sense. She helped to raise him, and he was extremely close to her.
We were all surprised and definitely taken aback by it progressing and becoming worse.
I was on my way to the hospital, and Antoine said, well, you don't have to go. I said, well, why not? And that's when he told me. That she had passed. She died of pneumonia, yeah. fluids in the lungs, that type thing, yeah. I think that was like the first time he actually called her mom. It's like, you know, my mom is God. And it was just a huge blow for him and for everyone else.
At times, you know, he would just, you know, break down. You know, just thinking about it, it was unbearable. I think he coped with her death through writing.
Yeah, I remember the song Babylon, where he had the verse about Renee, and the motion of him rapping, you could just feel it.
People don't know the stress I'm dealing with day to day. Speaking about the feelings I'm possessing for Renee.
When Renee died, that was a really tough time for Big Boy. Andre absolutely stood by him and helped to kind of pull him up along and re-motivate him to really put OUTKAST out there and make them as big as possible.
ATLiens was released August 27th, 1996.
ATLiens was a total metamorphosis album.
On the first album, you probably thought that the group was inseparable and their image was pretty much the same. On ATLiens, Dre started going in a different direction.
He didn't want to be a pimp. He didn't want to be a player.
That was Big Boy's vibe. Big Boy really embellished it. Dre was just more in between.
So that's when he went through the transition of really trying to find himself.
Andre felt like he had to change his life. A lot of things that he was doing, he said that he didn't want to do them anymore.
He stopped drinking, he stopped eating meat, he stopped smoking.
He grew his hair, you know, he got into books and spiritualism, even went as far as to practice celibacy for about a year.
He found some kind of clarity, and he decided he was going to show who he was and not be made into anything.
I still remember, like, one day he was jeans and t-shirt and a fresh pair of sneakers on, and then, bam, he's in a turban.
And it was actually a hat that you get from the beauty supply store. You know, they look, grandmama hats that you wear in church.
Dre walks out with a turban on, and everybody's looking like, man, what in the hell is Dre doing? What does he have on? And the next second, you going out to the mall, and everybody got on turbans.
Dre was taking a risk with the wardrobe. He was doing the vegan thing, and he happened to meet a girl that was into the same thing.
He met Erykah Badu at a club in New York.
Erykah Badu was a soul singer that just burst onto the music scene. Erykah was bohemian, she was intelligent, she was different and daring, and those are the aspects that were starting to come out in Dre.
I never seen two people fall in love so fast, so quick.
Erykah and Dre grew really close, and the next thing you know, wham, Erykah's pregnant.
November the 18th, 1997, I never forget it. I got a call and says, Andre needs to get to Dallas, Texas, because his son, 7 Sirius Benjamin, was being born.
The birth of 7 was another catalyst in Dre's life. It propelled him further into becoming serious about who he was.
The song is called I Swear. I really wanted to make a rap album, rap in quotation marks, but this is literally the way the wind blew me this time.
In my mind, I would love to make a rap album. Like, I would love to make a rap album, but this is what came at this time, and it felt authentic.
One of the things that's so great about you as a rapper is the directness and the way that you would talk about your life. So when you said yesterday, I don't know what to talk about now, I was like, how's that possible?
I was once in the studio with an artist, a younger artist, Tylerthe, and we were talking about rapping as you're old. And I was kind of telling Tyler, I was like, man, I just don't know what, like, I'd rather write a book or something at this point. Like, I don't know, like, you got to do it. And I was like, why? He was like, because it shows us what we can do when we get to that age. But to make it into a entertaining song to where it's just not self-serving, or it's not just like, there's a part of entertaining someone else too. I know I joked about, having to go get a colonoscopy and all this kind of stuff. And that's a real thing in my life, but to make that into a song, or
why not?
Like, yeah, of course, but I got to make it into a song that feels good as a song.
But your track record as making people feel good through song is...
Track record is one thing. The right now is a whole nother. I can't put anything else out in the world if I'm not excited about it, because how can I expect you to be excited about it? How can I expect you to think, oh, this is raw? Oh, this is fresh, if I don't feel that way? Like, what's that saying with that drug addicts say? They say, well, the longer I'm out of it, the better chances I have of staying out of it. So
That's not what America wants to hear.
I understand, but it feels that way. Like as I keep going, like it's like you keep slowing down too. Like people don't understand that there's a physicalness to rapping. I always say it's like being a boxer. Like you got to think it's actually like being a boxer. But don't you think the genre is
big enough to encompass all of that?
Look at the greatest boxers now. What do? They do exhibition fights every now and then, but they're not stepping in the ring. You know what I mean?
What if rapping wasn't boxing? What if it was something
But
else
it is
entirely?
though. That's what I'm saying. It is partly physical, partly mental. When boxers, when they're about to fight, they have to train. So if I were to make a rap album, the best thing I could probably do is just be around rappers. You know what I mean?
But that's
like,
not part of your life right now, really.
Yeah, it's not even like, I don't even like going to the studio and just hanging out with niggas smoking all day. You know, I just don't.
It's gotta be weird to have all that energy directed toward you. People coming up to you on the street or whatever and being like, do this. And you're like, I'm not gonna do it.
I wish I could answer them.
That's a lot of cosmic pressure. It's like being brought to bear on you.
It is. And that's to that point, that title, the first song.
Yeah.
I'm kind of addressing it in a way.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Like for me, like washing is kind of like cooking. Like I like seasoned food. Like I hate bland food.
Okay.
So I season my clothes a lot.
We're in our uniform era, is that right?
Yeah, I guess you definitely can call it a uniform. It's easy for me. Like it's kind of like even when I look around now and I look at kind of what's happening in the world, like everybody turned up in the late 90s and 2000s. Our contemporaries were looking at us crazy. Like, who are y'all?
Yeah.
Like y'all are from another planet. Now the planet is here, you know, like all the kids are turned up, you know what I mean? Like, which is beautiful. I just love this workwear kind of stripes and these overalls. They're very comfortable. I call them like adult baby clothes. You just feel like really comfortable and snug and like you have places to put your hands.
This is yours, these overalls.
Yeah.
What is the brand called?
From now on, they will have no choice but to call us the Ants. This is a workwear brand for sure. And like when you look at Ants, it's like they're always like working. I'm at the stage where I'm loving to do things with my hands.
Yeah.
You know, and things that I can do when I'm 75 years old or when I'm 80 years old.
And the outfit reflects that.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't think about clothing. Like I'm at work. Like I'm actually drawing or painting in these. I still love it that like the young kids, they'll come up like, oh man, your fit is fresh. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you, man.
Do you feel like the uniform is a reminder to yourself about the differences between now and say like the year 2000?
It's actually the opposite. It's not a reminder at all. It's a forgetting. I don't have time to think about clothing. Some people like go into fashion. Like I want to be free and like do all these things. There's a certain freedom in that too, but there's also a freedom in not having to think about it at all.
What do you do while you wait usually when you're here?
I usually go in the alley and I play.
I don't mean to be forward or ask for the art for free, but could we do that?
I'm at a point now, like if somebody in the street were to ask me like, man, could you rap? Like, could you say something? It'd feel weird. I have to like get my mind, like you have to get in rap mind or rap mode. But when people ask me, hey, can you play? I'm like, yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's play.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
Oh, thank you. I'm just kind of feeling what's happening at the time, so I'm just kind of making it up as it goes. Like even the new album was completely improv and made up, just a discovery path every time. So you never know what patterns you will play, you never know what melodies you're gonna play. You're on the tightrope at that point, so it's like, you gotta do something. It's very interesting that I've never been a rap freestyler. I just think too much to freestyle. You know,
but this is somehow accessing like a different part of the brain.
Yeah, I'm not thinking at all. Listening more than anything, like listening and responding. So when I started playing, it was kind of a thing like, if you didn't know of my history, if you didn't know of album sales, if you didn't know of records, you know, accolades or anything. Like I was getting real responses from people that didn't, like actually people would come up and give me money. Like, yeah.
Are you aware that clips of you playing your flute various places?
I became aware of it, and it kind of made me more self-conscious because it became kind of like a game. I remember I was in Philadelphia and someone came up and they was like, you know, it's like a game now. Like an actual person, they were like, you know, we try to spot you. And he told me, I was like, it's kind of weird now, you know, because at first it was kind of like I would just walk for miles and miles and play and just kind of duck off in places. But now it's like, it's become a thing. Being famous is just, people don't want to say it. Like, it is a great blessing. Like I'm actually blessed to be able to create in front of people and get ideas off. That's the biggest blessing out of being famous. But being famous really sucks, man. Like, it's so unhuman. Like, I can't remember his name, but there was this classical pianist that said it's actually unnatural and actually detrimental to a human to have that much admiration, because it actually changes the way you think. It changes the way you move, you know, like.
There's 100 people on the planet Earth who were like as famous as you at one point. You know, like the experience that you've had and know, very few people know.
No, I can do whatever I can do, you know, whatever comes to mind, I'll do it. Be it writing songs or rhyming, you know, or designing the next collection. It's kind of like whatever's there, you know, you gotta put it down.
Had the ability to change his flow pretty fast and pretty easily, and was able to make triple entendres, double entendres, play with words, play on his lyrics, and essentially make anything with his lyrics make sense and also sound good at the same time, which is a vital ability as a rapper. Henry Adasso of About.com noted that in our 3000 solo career, he had developed a reputation for stealing the show with nearly every guest appearance. He has been ranked as one of the greatest rappers of all time by several publications. Billboard ranked him 6th, The Source and About.com ranked him 13th, and Complex ranked him 10th best of its 2000s. Our 3000s began producing music on OUTKAST, Atelian's album, and later co-founded the production team from Earth Dome 3, which also consisted of Big Boy and Mr. DJ on Speaker Box The Love Below album, Beloved Below. He evolved his production by playing multiple live instruments, including keyboards, guitar, acoustic guitar, tenor saxophone. Since contributed outside of production for Aretha Franklin, Frank Ocean, Kitsy Ghost, among others. Scarface is called Our 3000 the Prince Rogers of hip-hop, which is a big stance considering who Prince Rogers Nelson is. Our 3000 is one to forever remember. He's been solidified in the Caucasus history books of hip-hop. Our 3000 is a hip-hop in some sense. Some say. And some say that he may never rap again from, you know, New Blue Sun album. But I personally believe that he may come back with a rap album, just maybe a different style of rap, or rapping about what it's like in his old age at 56. Or he may never rap again. It's fishy with these things, but he's one to be forever remembered because he inspired a lot of our favorite rappers today. Without him, hip-hop doesn't exist, to be honest, or he wouldn't evolve to its current state.
And, you know, they were into different things.
Dre was so non-party going, and Big Boy was always headed to the party.
They had separate tour buses, a smoking bus, and they had a non-smoking bus. And the non-smoking bus was Dre's bus. It was like a just calm, mellowed out bus.
Big couldn't believe that Dre was not smoking anymore and that, you know, he was just changing like he was. It's just kind of unexpected for your friend that you've been friends with for so long, you know, start making those changes.
The men in them started to come out, and they were growing in separate ways.
It seemed like they were moving in different roads.
From the outside, people were looking at it like, how is this going to work? During Atelians, Dre and Big, their differences started to come out, and a lot of people were wondering how this was going to work.
Big Boy was definitely like the player that you would see, you know, out in the clubs and wearing hats, jeans, sneakers, that sort of thing. And Dre was like, you know what? I feel like being different and free.
Dre, at that point, was unafraid to do anything.
You know, he was past a turban. He was kind of going into like monkey fur pants.
Dre is wearing ski boots. Ski boots with platinum wigs.
He may come out in fur coat and underwear.
He always said, I want to look like the music. The music is beautiful and colorful. I want to look like that.
People were saying Dre was crazy. I mean, bottom line, people say that Dre lost his mind.
People were asking Big Boy, like, is Dre gay?
When he was getting flack from the stuff that he wore, Antoine always, was right there by his side.
Big Boy always had a lot of respect for Dre. Both of them were always on the same page in terms of the goals that OUTKAST, the group, was trying to achieve.
The love of the music always brought them back together, regardless of what they were doing separately. In the later part of 1997, OUTKAST entered the studio to record the Aquemini album.
Aquemini is like the pivotal point for them. It's the place where they raise their flags, the individual flags about who they are.
During Aquemini, Big Boy became that great MC.
Many a day has passed, the night has gone by, but still I find the time to put that bomb off in your eye.
And Andre became a great producer.
Dre always continually wanted to, evolve musically and do different stuff. He wanted to be able to play a lot of the instruments himself.
Dre's passion to do different kinds of music took him a little to the left.
Big Boy found his balance in that if Dre's gonna do weirder sounding music, I gotta make sure I do clear street hooks and make sure my verses are gonna be for the people that we started with.
They definitely understood their roles, and they also understood how important the balance was, which is why they ended up coming up with the name Aquemini.
It's him and I, Aquemini.
Aquemini stands for Aquarius and Gemini. So they took both of their signs and put it together, which showed their individuality coming together as one.
It's amazing that when you have two people who are that different, that when they come together in the music, it seems like it just always blends. The Aquemini album was released September 29, 1998.
Aquemini got 5 mics from the Source magazine. In the hip-hop world, that's like a seal of approval.
Aquemini was received creatively by a lot of people as a classic record.
While everything was going great on the professional side, at home there was drama.
Dre was just ending a real serious relationship.
The relationship with Erica sort of grew and fizzled.
Erica was more like a mother to Dre instead of, a girlfriend or a companion.
I think he felt remorseful, and it was a painful experience for both of them.
Big also was going through some things with him and his baby mom.
Antoine had his first child, Jordan, with Shalita. And then a few years later, another young lady was pregnant.
He had a lot of baby mama drama, being that he had 2 baby mamas at the same time.
Big and Dre were going through very similar problems, and I think they both just needed to get back in the studio.
Antoine and Dre came up with as an allegory for their lives.
Miss Jackson was talking to the parents of the females in their lives.
Just letting them know that I'm sorry if I can't be there when you want me to be, but I'm trying my best.
Maybe I've done wrong in the past, but I am here. I'm being a father, Basically, get off my back.
1, 2, 3, yeah!
Stankonia was a true experiment. They went in like William Shatner land, and like this uncharted territory. From the So Fresh, So Clean to the bombs over Baghdad. It just went from one extreme to the next.
They were like, okay, we've done a pretty good job in terms of our acceptance in the hip hop world. Now let's just, challenge rap overall.
In the fall of 2000, OUTKAST released their 4th album, Stankonia, and Miss Jackson shot to the top of the charts.
It was like magic. Once people heard this record, it just caught on like wildfire.
It went to the top of the radio charts, to the top of the video charts. It was like nothing we'd ever seen before.
An old white woman I worked with was like singing Miss Jackson. And I was like, like, you know that song?
Stankonia opened the guys up to new audiences. Mainstream people started to realize that OUTKAST was special.
Like, we knew these guys had, totally arrived.
The coolest motherfuckers on the planet.
After Stankonia was released, the Grammy nominations came out, and the guys found themselves nominated for Best Rap Album and Best Rap Performance from Miss Jackson.
And the Grammy goes to...
The Grammy goes to OUTKAST, Miss Jackson.
Stankonia, OUTKAST!
It was such a big moment for them. They really felt like all the hard work over the years had really paid off.
It provided the validation that different can be good. Breaking the boundaries can be good.
And it's so amazing that now OUTKAST is mainstream, you know, and has mainstream acceptance, because they've always really been OUTKAST. They were always very different.
I think creatively, they always wanted to push themselves. They didn't want to sound the same on every album, and they didn't want to sound like anyone else out there.
For Big Boy and Dre, there was a sense of success and achievement, but not a sense of complacency. For them, it was now, how do we win Album of the Year?
Speaker box to love below.
The Grammys this past year, OUTKAST won Album of the Year, which obviously is the most important award of the night. It all finally came together this night at the Grammys. I mean, they win the most prestigious award of the night.
OUTKAST is forever changing, forever inventing themselves.
Whatever that line is that we say you can't go past or you can't do, OUTKAST is trying to push that.
Big and Dre have already seen what rap has done before. They want to see what rap can do.
They are leaving a legacy. OUTKAST is everlasting.
Conclusion. For me, Andre 3000 is one of the all-time greats of hip-hop. I mean, he's a very big inspiration to people like Tyler, people like Kendrick, people that I look up to, people that we all look up to as great rappers and great people of hip-hop in general. Andre 3000 will forever be looked on as one of the greatest rappers of all time. His flow, his cadences, his switch ups, his production, just him as a musician, essentially, it's completely mind-boggling and insane how so many people don't know who he is, or so many people don't recognize his music or don't recognize OUTKAST from back in the day. I know people say it's for old heads, about this, that, but for the old generation, new generation, we can come together and both appreciate great music, great rapping from 3000 on projects like Atlian, ATLians, and you know, Love Below, or a track like Miss Jackson. 3000 he's one of the greatest. I have to emphasize this, and I don't ramble, but without him, hip hop would lose a vital part of itself. It wouldn't be the same without Andre 3000. Just wouldn't be the same. Well, yeah. Be like Andre 3000, seek adventure, your life, chase your dreams, and do what makes you feel most alive. It's not zero, but yeah. Seek adventure. Peace.
There's more involved in what I have to do now than rapping songs that I've written. That's kind of like muscle memory and just energy, and you're able to hide some of the nervousness through your energy. Here, it's all in your face. You're on a tightrope the whole time. Like, I can't hide behind a beat that you already know or hide behind lyrics that you already are into. It is what it is. It's fun to do it. Like when I'm actually playing, it's fun. It's fun.